Welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, The School of Hard Knocks. So, throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2017 season. This week has not been the best of weeks on the channel. So we've had a shaky start Monday, 1-1. Same again Tuesday, 1-1. We lost both our games yesterday. So the team is just not performing as well. I'm not playing as well as I think I could be. But we're just not adapting to the team and opponents as well as we could have done, and this sometimes happens. We're not going to get too bogged down with it. We're not going to put the team away just yet. We're going to finish the week off with the team really try and nail out some results and just see what we can do with the team. I did say yesterday that I wanted to get some quicker episodes out. We didn't manage that yesterday. The second game went on a lot longer than what we wanted it to. So hopefully we can get back on track today, get some of those 20-minute episodes like I prefer to get out for you guys today. So we will jump straight on to the Battle Spot ladder, not waste any time, and hopefully find our first opponent. Lock in with the team. Team, as we have seen through this week, is Araquanid, Tapu Koko, Arcanine, Magnezone, Alolan Persian, and Porygon 2. And the one thing that we haven't featured very much on the channel this week is the Porygon 2. So maybe it might be worth actually considering that for a change going into the next few games. So we need to try and turn things around, so that's one way to look at it. We have our first opponent of the day, 1530 rating, so not that high, but not too much behind ourselves at the minute after all those losses, running a team of Silvally, Torkoal, Oranguru, Drampa, Incineroar, and Mimikyu. So, very Trick Room orientated team. We also need to be aware of that Silvally. Because of the Oranguru on the team, it potentially throws up the question that Silvally probably has Explosion, that Oranguru is probably Telepathy, so that's something we need to keep an eye out for. Also, the inclusion of Mimikyu there really supports that argument, so that's something we need to really be very careful of going into this game. So, how are we going to approach this then? I do feel as though Persian might not be a bad shout here. Because of the fake out support that we can get there. Also, the Arcanine with the Will-O-Wisp, it is going to, have Intimidate support. It's going to resist the fire attacks from that Torkoal. Araquanid is definitely something we want to bring, and I think to round things off, we need something for the Drampa, and Tapu Koko, if we can preserve it till end game when that Trick Room isn't up on the field anymore, would be very good. But then again, Porygon 2 might be... No, I'm going to lock in with Tapu Koko. So, I think the Trick Room is inevitable here. We can bring Araquanid that's going to be able to take advantage of that Trick Room. It also resists the Torkoal stabbed fire type attacks, so we should be alright. We just need to play it very carefully, smarter than our opponent, and see how we get on. So we know what we are looking for and expecting straight away. At least with this lead, we do get the Intimidate off onto that Silvally straight away, and we do have that potential for the fake out as well. So what we could potentially do here is fake out the Silvally, go for the Will-O-Wisp, or go for the fake out and the Snarl, which might be better. So if I go for the Snarl here, if that Silvally switches out, well, it's not going to switch out. Well, if it does switch out, then we're going to get a Snarl off on anything incoming. We're going to break the disguise as well on that Mimikyu, which is going to put us in better stead going into the next turn. So I will just go for that. I'm going to go for a fake out onto the Silvally, stop any potential explosions, and go for a Snarl. And then at least the next turn I'll be able to protect the Arcanine, get a parting shot off onto the Silvally. But we do see it actually switch out here. So we see the Drampa come in, so that Snarl is actually going to really help us out going into this next turn. We get the fake out off onto the Drampa, just get a bit of chip damage there, and the Snarl with our Arcanine, so we will reduce the special attack on the Drampa and break the Mimikyu's disguise, which is the most important thing going into this next turn. We probably will see a Trick Room come out from the Mimikyu as we do. Now, I think I'm just going to sit quite happy with my Arcanine here. Go for another Snarl, and I think, better going for a Parting Shot, or just switching. Now, I'm going to go for a Parting Shot this turn with my Persian. It should be able to survive a Play Rough and potentially a Hyper Voice, but we'll see. May not be either. So we do take the Hyper Voice. We see a Shadow Claw actually come out from the Mimikyu onto the Arcanine. Because of the Intimidate, it's not doing as much damage. We do get another Snarl off, so we'll be reducing the special attack on that Drampa. Again, just putting a lot more pressure onto it, and we do get a Parting Shot off with that Persian. So we are going to be able to get our Araquanid in on the field for free now, which is nice. So we will bring that in now, and instantly we're going to put a lot of pressure on to that Mimikyu with the Liquidation, and so what I'm going to do here, I wonder what item that Drampa's got. Because if it's got a Citrus Berry, it might be worth going for a Bug Bite onto it. I think I might just do that. Go for a Bug Bite, and I'm going to just Will-O-Wisp into that Mimikyu slot, just to get some additional damage onto it while I can. So we see the Drampa actually withdraw. Silvally come back in. And we get the Bug Bite off onto it. Not doing too much damage at all. And we are going to see a Z move come out from this Mimikyu. And it looks like the Twinkle Tackle. So this will be into our Araquanid. But we should be able to take this. It has been snarled. It has been intimidated. So yeah, we do take that quite comfortably. Obviously not as comfortably as we would like to, but we get the Will-O-Wisp off onto the Mimikyu, so that's really shutting it down, doing much more damage going into these latter parts of this game. Now, I think rather than waste my Z move here, I'm just going to go for a Liquidation, and I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz into the Silvally slot, because it probably will be outspeeding both my Arcanine and my Araquanid, so we should be able to get 2 turns off onto it before it can get an attack off itself. So we get the Liquidation off, not quite enough. Get the Taunt from the Mimikyu onto our Arcanine, and hopefully we outspeed as we do and pick up the KO there. So nice quick early KO onto that Silvally. So I'd imagine this Drampa to come back in now. Mimikyu's just taking a bit more damage from that burn. My opponent just taking his time. So that Drampa does come back in, and I think we got one more turn of Trick Rooms to go through. Now we can't protect with our Arcanine here, but I am just going to go for that Bug Bite again onto the Drampa, because I do expect maybe a berry on it. And I'm just going to go for a Snarl again, just to reduce the attack power of that Drampa while I can. Do see a Thunderbolt though from the Drampa, which is a bit of a surprise. So we'll take out our Araquanid, which is a bit unfortunate. But the main thing is we're going to get a Snarl off. See a Play Rough come into the Arcanine, which we'll be able to take very easily. And we do get the Snarl off with our Arcanine. Just reduce the attack power of the Drampa, and further chip down that Mimikyu. Now that Mimikyu might be in Flare Blitz range now from our Arcanine. So I think what I'm going to do is bring in my Tapu Koko here. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is just Dazzling Gleam and Flare Blitz into that Mimikyu slot, because I don't want to waste the Twinkle Tackle just yet. And a combination of Dazzling Gleam and a Flare Blitz should be enough to take down that Mimikyu, because that Drampa is likely to protect here, so it can try and get the Trick Room up, but it doesn't. We do get decent damage off onto it. We do activate the Berserk ability though, so special attack does rise, and we do see a super berry. Well, a citrus berry anyway, not so super. We get the Flare Blitz off into the Mimikyu. This should be enough to take it out. And what will we see? Probably a Hyper Voice from the Drampa here, I'd imagine. No, it's just another Thunderbolt. And it's into the Arcanine. And that will be enough to take the Arcanine out. So, a Drampa is in range though for another Dazzling Gleam to take it down. So see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. We're both down to 2 Pokemon each now. And it is the Torkoal. Okay. So we're not sitting in the worst position at all now, because we can just fake out the Torkoal, go for a Dazzling Gleam, and then we can deal with the Torkoal with both of our Pokemon. So that Drampa is in Dazzling Gleam range now, so I am just going to go for a straight up fake out onto the Torkoal. Dazzling Gleam, it should take the Drampa out and do a little bit of chip damage onto the Torkoal. And then we've got the Thunderbolt and the Foul Play to kind of just clean up the rest of the game. Drampa does protect this turn though. Get the fake out off onto the Torkoal. We'll get a Dazzling Gleam, but it's not going to do too much damage here. So I'm just this turn going to go for the Dazzling Gleam again, and I'm going to go for a Foul Play into the Torkoal. We need to be just getting as much damage onto it as possible, so that Eruption isn't hitting as hard as it would prior to this. We should have enough in the tank to take at least a Heat Wave from the Torkoal in the sun with both of our Pokemon. So hopefully it kind of works out, but we'll have to see what happens. So we get the Foul Play off. Not doing huge damage, but doing enough. And we do see a Heat Wave come out from this Torkoal. Oh my god! Persian goes down and Tapu Koko hangs on with 4 HP. So huge. But that Torkoal now should be in Thunderbolt range as the Electric Terrain is active on the field. So we'll just go for the T-Bolt. That should be enough to take out this Torkoal and we'll closely take this game. Yeah, so T-Bolt there, just enough, and with 4 HP we managed to seal the game. So very close, but good games to my opponent and not a bad start to the day. So let's go on to game 2 as quick as we can and try and squeeze in that next game. Hopefully it isn't stally and like we've had in the past couple of days. So I feel a bit better about the team, but it's still not sitting as comfortable as I kind of want a team to. But I'm not gonna put a bad spin on it. It's nice to test new things out, and you know, things on like a new team's not always going to work, and it's just about making sure you're testing it. It's good to know that you've tested it, because then you can put it to one side and think, right, well that didn't work, let's move on. And it's always about moving on, and when you move on, hopefully you're moving on and improving at the same time, and that's the big point here, guys. So we have our next opponent, 1656 rating from Japan, running a team of Drifblim, Tapu Lele, Arcanine, Tapu Koko, Garchomp and Snorlax. So lesson we learned last time facing a random Drifblim was that the Hypnosis can punish us quite heavily, so we need to keep that in mind going into this game. Now I could be quite tempted. I could see my opponent here leading off with the Drifblim Tapu Lele. Now one thing I could do is lead with my Magnezone here and my Porygon 2. Now, it's not a bad lead. And it does put a lot of pressure on everything. But the thing is, bringing the Porygon 2, then you've got to be very careful of that Snorlax, because once you set the Trick Room, the Snorlax can come in, potentially start cursing, belly drumming, and then putting a lot of pressure on everything else in the team. So that's the problem with bringing Porygon 2. And we've got no real way to stop the Tailwind from this Drifblim. So, let's think. I think I might lead Magnezone, Porygon 2, Tapu Koko, and Araquanid. That's the 4 we're going with this game. So we'll see. We've got our 2 big Trick Room players there. We've got a P2, and the P2 will give us a nice balance to be able to deal with that Garchomp with the Ice Beam as well, which gives us a nice option. We can bluff the Trick Room, bait in the Snorlax and kind of go from there, but at least with the Tapu Koko now, we're not worrying so much about that Hypnosis from the Drifblim. Now we do see my opponents lead with their Tapu Lele Arcanine, and we do lead off with Porygon 2 and Magnezone. So straight away we're not in the best of positions here because the Arcanine does threaten the Magnezone quite heavily with the Flare Blitz here, which isn't ideal. Tapu Lele could have Taunt as well to shut down any potential Trick Rooms here. But I'm very, very tempted. I'm very tempted to go for a Flash Cannon and an Ice Beam into the Tapu Lele slot, expecting a Taunt to come out. Because as long as... the thing is, my opponent, if he doubles into the Magnezone here, which he could very well do. What have we got in the back? Not a lot in the back. But I think I am just going to go for that Flash Cannon, and I'm going to go for that Ice Beam into the Tapu Lele. If we can get rid of that, it's going to make our lives a lot easier going into the latter parts of the game. Do you see the Flare Blitz come out from the Arcanine? Is going to go into the Porygon 2 actually. Okay. So what if we're going to see the double up into that slot? And we are going to see the Shattered Psyche. So it looks like they're doubling into the Porygon 2 slot, which is fine. I mean, I don't have any problems with this. If we lose Porygon 2, it's not ideal, but it means that our Magnezone is intact and we're going to be able to get off that Flash Cannon onto the Tapu Lele. It won't pick up the KO, but it's going to put it in range from anything from like Tapu Koko coming in. Porygon 2 taking all the attention away there, so a bit unfortunate that we lose it, but we do get this Flash Cannon off onto the Tapu Lele. It's going to make it a lot easier to deal with now. So we can bring in our Tapu Koko, which is really going to disrupt our opponent's game plan here, because to get their Drifblim back in, they're going to have to, to get their Drifblim on the field, to get the Psychic Seed activated, they're going to have to switch out the Lele and bring in the Drifblim, and then bring in the Lele again to activate it. So yeah, it's kind of messed things up for him, so it's not as plain sailing as it was. Now what I might do here is just go for a double attack into the Arcanine, and Volt Switch and T-Bolt, or T-Bolt. The thing is, I could imagine I'm going to actually just go for a Volt Switch into that Tapu Lele slot, because I can imagine the Drifblim potentially coming in on that slot. But it's not, it's a Garchomp. Okay, so not ideal, because we're not going to get Garchomp in. We're going to see a Flare Blitz come out, and it will be into that Magnezone. But it will take us down to our Sturdy ability, so that activates, and we will proc our Berry here. And because of this electric terrain now, I don't think Arcanine's Berry is going to proc here, and we potentially will be able to pick up the KO with the Thunderbolt, which is nice. So yeah, the Arcanine does go down. So we're sitting in not a bad position now. Now I'd imagine the Drifblim to come in on this slot now, if my opponent's bought the Drifblim. No, they have brought the Snorlax, so that is interesting. So I think what I'll do, I'll go for a Magnet Rise with my Magnezone, avoid any potential high horsepowers into that slot, and I'm just going to go for a Twinkle Tackle into the Garchomp, and that should be enough to take out the Garchomp, as long as it's not Scarf Garchomp. No Protect, so that Garchomp, as long as it's not slashed, is going to be gone. So we're sitting quite nice going into the last few turns of this game. So we will get this Twinkle Tackle off, and with our little heart of love, Tapu Koko is going to demolish the Garchomp, which is nice. Right, so we're down to a Snorlax and a Tapu Lele. So hopefully that Snorlax has went for a high horsepower into that Magnezone slot. Has went for the double edge though into the Tapu Koko and does take us down as expected. Right. But we do have our Araquanid left, and we have seen my opponent already go for the Shattered Psyche, so it hasn't got that in the bank. We will be able to take a Psychic under the Psychic terrain, so that's fine. So what we'll do, go for a Bug Bite into that Snorlax, steal its berry, get some health back, and then just finish up with a Flash Cannon into that Tapu Lele, and then we can kind of concentrate all our efforts down onto that Snorlax, which won't be able to use its Recycle as long as we get the Bug Bite off onto it. So potentially things will go alright here. We do see the Tapu Lele protect. Flash Cannon into that slot. We will get the Bug Bite off. So hopefully we do steal the berry. But it's not buried. Okay, that's interesting. I think it is. Yeah, so that's a banded. That's a banded Snorlax. Okay. Not ideal. So that's totally thrown us here. So what can we do now? Because we attack into the Tapu Lele. I think I'm going to protect the Magnezone here. I'm going to have the Liquidation into this Tapu Lele just to get rid of it. My opponent probably will see that double into the Araquanid with a Psychic and a double edge to make sure it does go down. We just see a Dazzling Gleam, so that's not as bad. But we probably will see a double edge into the Araquanid slot. So this is not going to be as easy to clean up as we originally thought. Double edge into the Araquanid is enough to take it down. But is that recoil going to be enough to put it into Thunderbolt range? I do not know. It's going to be interesting. So nothing left to do but hit the button and hope it is enough. I don't think it's going to be enough, but you never know. Magnezone might pull through. You might be able to do it. Thunderbolt, is it going to be enough? Is it? Oh, it's so close. I think Snorlax will go down to the recoil here, but that would mean it wins and we lose. So, but unfortunate. Bit unfortunate, and Snorlax does go down as well, so it does manage just to win the game though. Very good game to my opponent, and very close at the very end there. So that's another lesson as well, guys. Kind of not assuming that your opponent is running the standard stuff. So that Snorlax there, because it had obviously the choice band, doing so much damage, really threw us. And when we were expecting it to take a berry and we didn't, and we could have just went for a liquidation into that slot that turn, because that would have been enough damage then for that last Thunderbolt to pick up the kill there. But never mind, guys. So we will wrap things up there, guys. A good couple of games today, so it's not too bad, and we're on the 1-1 again. But we'll hopefully round things off with a decent episode tomorrow. We'll hopefully get 2 wins. I do have my reserves about the team, but it's all right, and it might be worth doing a little team review episode for the start of next week, just to cover a few things where we went wrong when building, and that probably would be quite beneficial for you guys out there. So if it is something you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. As always, please leave a like on the video. It is always massively appreciated, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, before I knock everything over and ruin my place. So guys, we'll leave it there, and I will see you again tomorrow. So go away, enjoy the rest of your nights, take care of yourselves, and I will see you then. So until then, bye bye.